Hey guys, Novabucity here, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be going over the Sword and Shield, my thoughts, your thoughts, and going over the poll results of the poll I put up for Sword and Shield the other day. Now first of all, let's go through the poll results. I put up a poll yesterday saying, Sword and Shield users, what do you think about the weapon in the Wild's beta? So we got 123 votes as of this recording. 34% of people said I love it. 54% said I liked it, or it liked it, because I made a spelling mistake there. 11% said I didn't like it, and 2% said I hated it. And we got quite a lot of comments here, which I do appreciate. So let's just go through some of these, and yeah, we're going to talk about more of my thoughts at the end and throughout this video as we talk about some comments and anything that I have to add to what other people have said. So let's just talk about the history of my Sword and Shield usage, just to let you guys know how I've used the weapon. I've used the weapon pretty much as one of my secondaries since Monster Hunter 4U. I love the weapon. G is my favorite Sword and Shield. I used it in World as well, not too much, but more at the start, and I've used it a lot in Rise. I've always felt Sword and Shield is a cool weapon to use. It's fast, it's accurate. Yeah, you have to get quite close to the monster, but I always felt like it was a cool way to keep close, but also deal damage and have versatility in your dodging. In the past, Sword and Shield was mostly about dodging and maneuvering around the monster to get around them and their moves, but now in the newer games, definitely starting from Rise with the new counter shield attack, you could actually counter with some guard and actually be able to dish out a lot of damage, going into perfect parries from your countered guard, which is really cool. And it seems like we're gonna have a similar effect in Wilds, as you now they've put more of an emphasis on perfect parrying, which I do like, and it's quite nice. But that's me. So let's get into our first comment. So let's first start with Plus Delta 4477. One of my long-lasting subs, and he's been around the streams a lot, so it's good to see him. And he's updated his icon to Raydal, pretty cool. And he says, it's Rise SnS without the OP counter move, but that's probably for the best. Focus mode is awesome for aiming perfect rush. And I tend to agree with Delta here. It's Rise SNS without the counter, and it works well into the weapon. Rise SNS for me is actually my second favorite SNS. My favorite of all time is GU SNS with oils and all the goodness there. If you played it, you know what I mean. But this SNS for me is seeming pretty good since we got the Rise kit. Now you still have some of the world movement. You can still attack side to side and kind of position yourself more on continuous attacking in focus mode. So it's interesting, they've kind of combined the two ways of play into this weapon. But not everyone feels this way. There were some people who felt like in Wilds, SNS doesn't really have the impact as it did in World, and not the flashiness or coolness as it did in Rise. So let's go through some of these comments. So next we got the Mikalea, who says, it's my beloved main weapon, but I wasn't really feeling it. It was the first weapon I picked up in the beta, and it made me kind of disappointed with the Wild's gameplay at first. Luckily, that mostly went away when I used other weapons. The oomph from World and the sick gameplay from Rise just wasn't there for the SNS. Most weapons, if I'm being honest. Some focus mode additions and monster finds were still pretty fun though. And my boy D Townsend pretty much says the same thing. It's okay. Doesn't feel as good as World or Rise. I'll probably use something different. Damage, discipline, and dastardly duo echo similar thoughts. And these comments here, to be honest, I don't think they're in a silo. I think a lot of people have actually said that the game does feel like a weird and interesting mix between World and Rise, and people don't really know how to feel about that currently. Now, bear in mind, we don't have the skills yet, we don't have the full picture of how the weapons work. And I think when we start to fight different and more interesting monsters like Raydal, we'll kind of understand more of the gameplay in this game and how the differences are going to impact the weapons. Also, the oomph is something that many weapons have talked about. Lance in particular, I talked about it quite a lot. Hammer, switch axe, it's not there. And I think that's probably something that they've missed out in this demo. Something similar happened in the Rise demo where we didn't have the oomph at the first demos, but then later on they actually added it in, and you could feel the impact and the weight of the weapons in the later iterations when the game came out, and actually in the second demo, which is really cool. So I'd say, guys, you know, let's wait and see where it goes, and yeah, you know, don't stress too much. Now let's read this comment from Gasa1997. I've usually played Sword and Shield for my first run through any Monster Hunter game. It's always my favorite weapon to take to monsters that I haven't fought before. This time around, I was really interested in other weapons, and I was sure that I was going to play a different weapon for my first run through Wilds. Then the beta came out. I played a few weapons, then I grabbed SNS, and honestly, I didn't switch weapons for the rest of the beta. Like I said, I've had a Sword and Shield for every one of my playthroughs throughout Monster Hunter games, but this time will be different. I will have 2 SNSs for my first playthrough. That's pretty cool, and it's a nice comment to see. For the most part, it seems like people are really enjoying SNS, definitely some of the people who've been playing the weapon for a long time. I kind of get the sense that people who've played it more in World weren't too happy with this iteration, as this iteration is more like the Rise version of the weapon. But let's get into this more in this next comment. And now we got a comment from Plock Babe, who's actually the one who inspired this video after saw a comment he wrote on my Lance video saying, bro, you need to talk about how they ruined SnS. So yeah, I thought reading this, a lot of SnS mains would be kind of angry about the weapon, but doesn't seem to be the case. But let's read what he has to say. So, I'll say that I do like being able to reposition after chops, side slashes, and round slash, but you almost always have to roll anyway, because you aren't actually able to turn around by slashing. Instead, you keep swinging in one direction. And second, another bad change they made in my opinion was the thrust attack being removed from the end of the perfect rush. Now you're tossed into the air just like if you were to use charge slash, with you having to choose between either falling bash or jumping slash. There wasn't anything added to SnS to make it fun to play. I feel like every weapon is the same or better, with SnS being the only exception. Some weapons have some sort of gimmick that makes them stronger or more versatile, or both even. And I mean, yeah, you could do the first 2 attacks from perfect rush, then roll and repeat, but with the range of the weapon seeming to be nerfed, there'd be a lot of rolling because you're definitely going to miss more than a few times. So from reading this, it seems like Block Babe kind of came from playing in World and didn't play with Rise, because in Rise they did add and change a lot when it came to the perfect rush. Now he's talking about you can come down with 2 moves. Well, there's actually a third option as well. You can come down with the move where you actually drill your attack, you actually stab your attack. It's like the mini helm breaker, a helm splitter or whatever, which hits multiple times and it's really good. It's much better than just coming down with a slash. And in the future when we get elemental and status, you'll actually be better to use than shield bash. So I don't think it's that much of an issue. But another thing he says here is that your only option is to go into the air. Well, it's not. You can actually stop with the Reaper slash beforehand if you don't want to finish the full combo. It's up to really you. It's up to the user how they want to go with the combo. There's options on how you go about the perfect rush. You don't always have to dodge, but you can end on a Reaper's chop, so there is an option there. Now another thing he talks about is that you have to roll a lot. And like I was saying before, it feels that to me, people who've played this weapon mostly in World may not like that you have to roll, because rolling actually for Sword and Shield is pretty much its bread and butter since the day of its inception. We've been rolling with Sword and Shield forever. It's actually been the main mechanic that we've used to reposition ourselves throughout the monster. Now I know in World, they changed that and you don't need to do that as much, because you can actually just attack in any direction. Now in Rise, you can still do that to some extent. You can still do that in focus mode, and turning the camera, you can attack and reposition yourself. That's the whole point of focus mode when it comes to the Sword and Shield, and that's actually what I really appreciate about the focus mode when it comes to the Sword and Shield. It feels more fluid. Some people have said focus mode feels better on some weapons than others. It feels like it's actually natural. And for Sword and Shield, I would say it literally feels like a natural evolution for the weapon, as now you're able to attack in any direction through the focus mode. And I really like that. I actually honestly really like that. So I do understand your complaints. I would say give it another chance when the game comes out. See how you feel. And yeah, hopefully you'll enjoy it more. And now we got a comment from Honeycona4027, and what this person has to say is, overall, I think I'm going to use this weapon as my main secondary. I'm a Charge Blade user, but I did spend some time testing out the weapon. I wasn't impressed by the damage or the reach of the SnS, but those aren't in strength, and I was surprised by its versatility. And out of the weapons I tested, it felt like the second nature mounter from the flow of his combos. And from the boost all guard weapons got from the new guard system, I enjoyed staying in the fight from superior maneuverability or from simply tanking a hit. And most of the time from guarding, I could roll into a split second, weakness punished with focus strikes. The new shield 4 attack seems pretty cool with the Grano shockwave coming out from it. And then a bit later on, he then talks about how he's been practicing with the perfect rush and focus strikes and haven't really found the best time to use his charge chop other than what I assume a nice wound attack. And yeah, it's good to see that more people who are using different weapons are coming over to the sword shield. Now one of my favorite things to play when I was playing Rise's sword shield was actually aerial style with the sword shield. Not always in the air, but you know, sometimes throw myself in the air, wire bugs and stuff. That's quite cool. I've actually seen a couple of comments talking about doing some more aerial mounting mechanics with the sword shield. Definitely with your focus strikes as you come in from the air quite a lot, and it seems like that kind of mechanic is still with the weapon. One thing when it comes to the shield bash after the focus strike, and another comment actually also said the same, the next one we're going to read, is the shockwave seems a bit strange. Like the impact of it just seems a bit weird. Like sometimes it feels like you're so far away and it still hits, which I'm pretty sure is a bug. Sometimes the monster got hit away really far, I was up in there, I came down with the strike and the shockwave still hit it even though it was not even anywhere near, and sometimes it didn't. So I don't know, it must be some type of bug with the move. So I'm hoping they fix that when the full game comes, because it does kind of feel a bit strange. And that shockwave move is cool, but it doesn't really work consistently right now. And here we got Mr. Jazer89, who says, it's okay. Honestly, it felt like a weird confused mix of World and Rise SnS. The combos are there, but it feels slower than Rise SnS. and the damage didn't feel like it was there. Perfect Rust was similar to Rise in that it did not feel good, and Falling Bash, in my opinion, had a weird hitbox. Sometimes it would connect on absolute misses, yet other times I didn't hit the hit, despite being close and better aimed. The second hit just felt so random and unreliable. The second hit should be like Mitsu. If the first landed, then the second should automatically follow up wherever you hit the first part. Hop back received a nerf too, that not many know about, since you can't turn around back hop anymore, and the input has changed to always require the direction plus the hop back button when rolling. So my muscle memory despises that. It also means if there's any frame drops or issues, you might accidentally guard slash and ruin the back hop, leading you to take a hit. Speaking about that, why is the guard slash still in this game? Utterly worthless move that only makes the SnS actively worse. The perfect guard mechanic is fine, but aggression is usefulness at times. It kinda competes with the back hop in a lot of cases, and SnS with good play shouldn't be guarded much anyway. But maybe that changes depends on how good perfect guard ends up being. The new charge slash is cool, but it just lead to a lot of spinning Reaper into charge slash spam. I know I might sound negative, but I'm still looking forward to it. I just think it needs a few touches and it would be fantastic. Like removing the guard slash and replacing that input with backstep to make it more reliable. And next we got from Zeph Alpha 06, who left a comment down below, and he starts off talking about how he didn't get to play the beta because his PC is a potato, which maybe that's a positive thing, you know, you just kind of saved your eyes from seeing bad performance and graphics that a lot of people experience while playing the beta, so that's a positive for you in this instance, I suppose. But yeah, he echoes a lot of what Jason had to say about his experience with the weapon, which is cool, it's good to see, and I appreciate you guys giving me these comments. And yeah, I tend to agree a lot when it comes to the focus mode with the shield bashing. It just felt like the rising shield attack for the focus mode missed a lot when it shouldn't have and hit when it didn't, like I said before, and I hope they fix that. It must be some type of bug because it's a bit strange. I do like the idea of it kind of being like Mitsu, where it hits as long as the first part hits. I mean, that doesn't make too much sense when it comes to, I guess, reality, but mechanic wise it fits and it helps with the move, so I think it's fine and worth doing. Definitely if monsters are going to be flinching back too much, it's something that would be great to have. Now the hop back, I didn't notice that too much, so it's good to know that. Maybe the hop back and the turning around thing is a thing because now there's focus mode, but once again you're going to get into a situation where you need to be clawing with focus mode and hopping back, and it's going to be a bit strange, but I think that's the overall idea, and that's maybe why they limited a lot of things in that sense, because if you want to turn around now, you have to turn around via focus mode. So yeah, why is guard slashing still a thing? I don't know, to be honest. Without the guard counter, it's not really as useful anymore. I do like the guard counter back in Rise. When you have some guard, it's really cool, but it's not really a thing anymore. So yeah, I'm actually with you with removing that move. And there's no worries being negative, man. You're just talking about your opinions, how you feel, and I just want to tell other people it's fine to talk about the parts you don't like. You know, it's a part of the game. It's a part of everything. You know, talk about what you like, talk about what you don't like, and you know, hopefully Capcom can work on those things that we like and don't like, and it can help us enjoy the game more. So yeah, thanks for the comment. And then lastly, let's finish with Mr. 101 AAA. I'm pretty sure you joined in on the stream when I was playing Wild, so it's good to see you here. Anyway, let's get into the comment. I love all of the new additions to the moveset, like the charge chop, the focus attack. I think the Sword and Shield's greatest strength, which is its ability to utilize the inventory whilst the weapon is out, allowing for quick usage of items while you play. This takes a completely different mindset, I think, and it's something that requires a bit more muscle memory to accomplish. In that regard, SnS might have got its biggest buff from the expanded item bar, letting you super quickly scroll through your entire pouch for what you need. Though, the regular menu is still a mega helpful, you're going to need to spend some time solely with the weapon to fully grasp this. But my initial thoughts on the weapon were very positive. I think that's something that people really downplay when it comes to the SnS. The ability to use items with weapon out is huge. Definitely as more items get added to the game and more useful things get added, it just gives the SnS a secret power creep that people don't realize. Maybe not in damage, but utility and usefulness. It just makes things much better and enables many new builds as well that links with items, which has always been really cool. So I'm glad that someone actually mentioned this. That's nice to see. So for me, I think it was great. I love Rise Sword and Shield. As I said before, Sword and Shield in Rise was one of my favorites. Sword and Shield in World, I didn't use it much in Iceborne at all really. I used it in Base World and it was okay. It was kind of felt like a wet noodle to me when you swing it around. I don't know, some of the animations, they just didn't feel how I like it from the old games. In GU is like my favorite Sword and Shield. Like I said, I like the animations, I like the sound. One thing that people talked about here is the sound effects. But I think the old style Sword and Shield in GU and previous games, the sound effects were great. The feeling was amazing. I like the feeling of hitting and then dodging and moving. Now, I do like the addition that they did add in world that you can turn and hit at the same time. And it's great that if in focus mode, it's something they're actually bringing back. Being able to hit to the side, and I like the fluidity of how the weapon moves as they're doing it. It just feels great and amazing. I really appreciate how they done that. And in a sense, this was one of the weapons where it really highlights the combat in this game and how they're trying to add in world and rise together. And it's not just take one or take the other. And I want to talk about that in another video. Probably the end of all these 4 videos when it comes to the weapons. But you can see that the standard kit is rise, but the focus mode is well. And I like the mismatch of that. Now, one thing I didn't like too much when it came to weapons is actually the perfect rush. Not many people mentioned this. I felt like the perfect rush was a bit slow to start. It felt a bit, I don't know, maybe it's just a demo and it felt like maybe they were dropping my inputs. When I hopped back and I tried to get into the perfect rush, it felt like I just had to keep on pressing the button. It wouldn't come out so quickly. It just felt a bit slow and unresponsive. I really didn't like that, honestly. I didn't like that part. When you're using the move itself, it felt fine. The oomph that we were talking about, the hit effects, the hit stop and all this stuff wasn't there, as we've talked about before. But the main thing of it was good. It's just the before part, I didn't like the startup of it. I think something needs to change there. Something feels a bit off there. I don't know if it's you guys as well, but I felt that a lot. So when I was trying to get my perfect rush in, it just felt like it was a bit slow to start a lot. And I didn't know how to really deal with that. But coming on to the charge chop that we talked about, I don't even know if the charge chop is actually its real name, but that's what everyone's calling it. So let's talk about the charge chop. I think it's a cool move. It's kind of the replacement for the drill combo like I talked about earlier in this episode. But I don't think it's as fluid. Like the drill combo, it's kind of like mixed into the weapon, right? Instead of your shield bash, you got the drill combo. Now this, you can kind of use at any time actually. You just have to hold down the buttons. I don't really know the application of this or when to use it. Like I was thinking, okay, do you use it at the end of your perfect rush? Do you use it whenever? Because you can kind of use it whenever. You can hit once and then use it. You can also use it in the perfect rush, but I don't know if it's the right application for it. Maybe that's something we can't really see now. As we get skills, as we see more monsters, maybe we'll kind of realize how this is going to add into our gameplay. As we get elemental and status, we're definitely going to see where this applies into our combos overall. So that's good. Focus strikes are great. Like I was saying before, focus strikes are great. The only issue for me is the shield bash one. It's cool, and I guess you should only really do that on the head, but it's strange. A lot of the times you go up, and I think this is a focus strike issue, which I also want to talk about, is sometimes when you do your focus strike moves, definitely if they're multiple hit, the first hit flinches the monster, so when the second hit it comes down, it misses. But it was weird, with the shield, it felt like the shield was hitting it anyway, even if the monster's like halfway across the screen, it still hits it, but sometimes it didn't. Which is strange. I don't understand it. It might be a bug, like I said, but who knows? It's really hard to say right now. When we get more information, when we can play it in a full game or maybe another beta demo, we can really find out how the weapon plays and how it feels in the full game. Now, the weapon being a bit short, this is the first time I've seen this type of comments about the sword and shield. Normally, it just kind of makes sense that the sword and shield is kind of short in range, like it doesn't hit as far as other weapons. That does kind of make sense. But in this game, and definitely in this comments, and I did feel it myself, that the sword and shield is missing more. And I don't think it's a sword and shield thing. I think it's a wilds thing. And I think monsters are moving more in general. They're making more movements with their heads, with their arms, with their body. So when you're attacking, sometimes you're hitting them sometimes, but they do a slight movement and the move isn't hit anymore. And I think this has to do with the focus mode. This has to do with the Z axis and everything. And then wanting you to use focus mode to more accurately move forward and hit the monster more often. I think that's the main thing and the main usage they want from focus mode. So I do understand people's problems with the range, but I don't think it's just a sword shield thing. I think it's all weapons when it comes to focus mode. And with sword shield in particular, you just have to use focus mode a lot to get in close. And when you're in close, it's fine. But when monsters moving about, you need to then just switch just a bit, toggle into focus mode, do what you need, and then get out of it to make it effective for you. Now, lastly, I want to talk about the counter. Now, I love the counter in Rise. It's not something that most people use. They don't use guard on shield, but I was using it, and I had a lot of fun using sword shield guard. It was a lot of fun using that game. The fact that it's gone is fine. We got the perfect parry. And from the perfect parry, you do have some options. I don't know. The main option I used was Reaper Chop. I was trying to get into perfect parry. I was trying to get into perfect rush from it, but I don't think you can unless maybe I didn't use the right input. I normally press the right button, the right attack, you know, the stronger, the shield bash attack. That's what I normally use for after my response from the perfect parry. I didn't use just the normal chop attack button. I don't know what that does. Maybe it just hops forward. So I'm not really sure about that. But I do like perfect parrying, so I'm definitely going to use it. I'm going to use my shield a lot more with sword shield in this game. I'm not going to dodge about. I want to experiment, you know. It's kind of fun. Now, lastly, I want to talk about the dash attack. Now, someone did talk about the dash attack to me in my Discord. And yeah, I don't like the dash attack. I think it's garbage. I can't lie to you. I think the dash attack from the old game, striking down is better than striking up. I don't remember what game they added the strike up in. Was it World or something? But the strike up, it just feels so flimsy and so weird. I like to strike forward and down with the sword and shield. I think that's just more, this feels better and this feels more impactful to me rather than striking up, from down up. I guess striking down up kind of helps with getting tails maybe, but striking up down, I don't know when it comes to that. But I just prefer when you're striking from up down rather than down up, in my opinion. But it is what it is. I don't know if there is an up down version. I know that you do have the sliding attack, which is a bit weird. The sliding dash attack, when you block and you use both attack buttons, you do just sliding attack, which is a strange place to put the input, but I guess they needed to find a space for it and they still wanted it, which is okay. That move was pretty cool and it's kind of like a nice moving type of move from Rise, so I kind of like that. I probably use it more than the normal dash attack. I don't like the normal dash attack. I think it's not for me, but overall, I'm liking the sword and shield. I think the sword and shield is a good addition. This one is going to be one of the better ones. For me personally, I don't think it's going to meet GU, because GU for me, oils and just the arts and styles, whew, I loved it in that game, can't lie. But in this game, it seems like it's going to be good. It's got the things I like from World and Rise, so I'm happy. I'm actually happy about this weapon, and I'm definitely going to use it more often in this game. So thanks guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. You know, let me know what you think down below. Comment, subscribe, like, leave anything you want me to know and read, because I'll read it. Tomorrow we're going to do Hammer, and that's going to be interesting. I'm interested to talk about Hammer. I think that's going to be a bit more of a divisive episode, maybe. I haven't read the comments on it yet, but yeah, I'm excited. So stick tuned for that. If I haven't listed out your weapon, that's mainly because I didn't use the weapon that much. I did use the greatsword, and I was thinking about talking about greatsword. I'm not sure I'm going to do that, but if you want me to talk about greatsword, let me know down below. I'll do it. Inside game I did play, I don't know enough about, so I'm not going to do that. Switch axe, I didn't do enough of that. I can't talk about it. I did do quite a lot about Charge Blade, but I don't know enough about Charge Blade to do it justice. So I'm not going to do Charge Blade, but I'll do the weapons I know. So yeah. Anyway, I'll catch you guys next time. See ya.